I woke to the sharp snip of scissors and my mother's whisper slicing through the dark. "You'll never outshine Lily." My eyes flew open, heart hammering. As I reached for my hair, my long auburn pride, only to find jagged clumps where waves once flowed. Panic gripped me, cold and real. In my Seattle apartment's dim glow, I lurched to the mirror, the city's neon lights bleeding through the blinds. The reflection was a stranger, my hair hacked into a cruel, uneven mess. On the dresser, my mother's art scissors glinted, next to a sticky note in her precise handwriting. "Focus on Lily's speech. Don't steal her light." The words stung like a betrayal, deliberate and deep. I sank to the floor, strands of my hair scattered on the pillow, pieces of a life I'd fought for. I'm Emma Carter, 27, a graphic designer scraping by in Seattle's ruthless art scene. This city, with its glassy towers and foggy shores, pulses with dreams. But for me, it's a fight to be seen. I've hustled for every gig, every chance, while carrying the weight of a family that never valued me. My sister, Lily, 24, is their star a painter whose bold canvases light up galleries. My parents, Margaret and Robert, poured everything into her art lessons, praise, a free ride to college. Me, I worked nights to pay for mine, smiling through their endless comparisons. Lily's solo exhibition at Horizon Gallery is her big moment. Seattle's art elite buzzing with anticipation. When she asked me to speak at the opening, I thought it was a chance to mend things, to show I'm more than the shadow they cast me as. I poured weeks into designing the event's branding posters, banners, invites, every detail perfect. I practiced my speech until it sang, bought a green dress that felt like armor. For once, I wanted to stand tall under those gallery lights, not just as Lily's sister, but as Emma, a creator with her own spark. But that note, those scissors, they shattered it all. My mother's words burned, "Don't steal her light," as if my existence could dim Lily's glow. I gripped the note, anger rising. This wasn't just about hair. It was years of being cut down to lift her up. I grabbed my phone, hands shaking, and called Sarah, my best friend, a photographer who's seen every scar my family left. "Emma, what's wrong?" she answered, voice sharp. I choked out the truth. "They cut my hair. Sarah, my parents, they drugged me and cut it." Silence. Then her voice turned steel. "I'm there in 10. As I waited, staring at the wreckage in the mirror, I felt a shift. This wasn't just betrayal. It was a declaration of war. My family thought they'd broken me, that I'd shrink back into their script. They were wrong. I wasn't just fighting for my hair. I was fighting for me. The Seattle dawn was gray, fog curling around my apartment like a shroud. I stood in my kitchen, the sticky note from my mother crumpled in my hand. Its words, "Focus on Lily's speech," burning my skin. My reflection in the coffee pot showed the jagged ruin of my hair. Each cut a silent scream. My chest tightened, questions clawing at me. Why was I never enough? Why did I always have to fade? In the Carter house, I was Lily's shadow. Margaret and Robert built their lives around her. At 8, Lily got art classes, her childish sketches framed like treasures. I got a used sketchpad and a lecture to be practical. By 16, Lily's paintings won awards, her name glowing in Seattle's art scene. I bussed tables to buy a laptop, my designs dismissed as cute. College was Lily's free ride, funded by my parents' pride. I patched together loans, moved out at 19, and buried the hurt under a smile. "Emma, don't envy Lily," my mother would snap. "She's destined for greatness. You'll figure it out. Figure it out. That's what they called my struggle, my hustle, my life. Now, at 27, I was still the daughter they tolerated, not celebrated. Lily's Horizon Gallery exhibition was their triumph, a stage for their golden girl. I thought my speech, my designs, might finally earn their respect a bridge across the chasm. I'd spent weeks crafting banners that made her art pop, a speech that balanced her brilliance with my own spark. But they saw me as a threat, a distraction to their perfect narrative. I called my mother, voice raw, chasing a shred of remorse. "Why? Mom, why'd you do this to me?" Her reply was ice. "Emma, don't overreact. Your hair was too flashy. Lily's the focus, not you." My throat closed. Flashy. I just wanted to feel good for once. She sighed, impatient. "You know how it is? People notice you. They forget her art. We're protecting her moment." I hung up, her dismissal a fresh wound. Protecting her by breaking me. My father was worse. I texted desperate. "Dad, did you know they cut my hair?" His response was blunt. "It's done. Emma, don't ruin Lily's big day." Ruin I'd poured my soul into her event, and they repaid me with scissors. Their words weren't just cruel, they were a verdict. Lily matters. You don't. Then there was Claire, Lily's gallery manager. All sharp smiles and sharper motives. At a planning session, she'd skimmed my designs, muttering, "They're fine, but Lily's the vision here." Later, I caught her with my mother at a cafe, her voice low. "Emma's got talent, Margaret, but we can't let her upstage Lily. Keep her quiet." It hit like a slap. Claire wasn't just complicit, she was orchestrating, guarding Lily's spotlight and her own control. Sarah burst through my door, camera bag swinging, eyes blazing at my hacked hair. "Your parents did this, and Claire's in on it." I nodded, tears spilling. "They think I'll ruin everything by being me." Sarah's voice was steel. "They're wrong. Emma, they're terrified of your light." Her words cracked something open, a spark of defiance. I wasn't ready to fight, but I was done shrinking. My family wanted me invisible. I'd make them see me, whether they liked it or not. The Seattle rain drummed against my apartment window, a relentless beat that matched the chaos in my chest. I stood in my bedroom, staring at the art scissors on my dresser, their blades flecked with my auburn hair. My mother's sticky note lay beside them. Its words focus on Lily's speech, a cruel taunt. My fingers grazed the uneven ends of my hair, each chop a fresh betrayal. This wasn't a mistake. This was war, waged while I slept. My mind replayed the night before, piecing together the trap. My mother, Margaret, had pressed a mug of tea into my hands, her smile too tight. "Relax, Emma. You've been so stressed." I'd sipped it, trusting her, the warmth pulling me into a deep, foggy sleep. Now, a bitter tang lingered in my memory, something chemical, slipped into the tea to knock me out. They'd waited, my parents, until I was helpless, then crept in with those scissors to hack away what made me feel like me. All to ensure Lily's exhibition stayed their focus, not mine. I stormed to the kitchen, where morning light exposed their casual cruelty. Margaret sat at my table, flipping through a planner, while Robert sipped coffee, eyes on his phone. I held up the scissors, voice shaking but sharp. "You drugged me. You cut my hair." Why Robert glanced up, unbothered. "Emma, it's hair. You're fine, fine." My mother set her planner down, her tone patronizing. "You were drawing eyes, sweetheart. That long hair, that dress, it's too much for Lily's night. We're keeping the focus where it belongs. The words hit like a blade. Too much I designed your banners, wrote your speech, gave everything for her moment. Margaret's eyes narrowed. Exactly. Your support, not the star. Lily's art is what matters. Robert nodded, dismissive. Short hair's better anyway. Less showy. Their calm was infuriating, as if I'd overreacted to a prank. I gripped the counter, dizzy with rage. You think this is okay? Betraying your own daughter? Margaret sighed, like I was a child. We're saving you from embarrassing yourself. You'll see. I wanted to scream, to shatter their smugness, but their indifference choked me. They weren't sorry, they were proud, convinced they'd protected Lily's spotlight. This wasn't just about hair. It was about control, about keeping me small so their golden girl could soar. My whole life, they'd clipped my wings, and I'd let them. Not anymore. My phone buzzed, pulling me from the haze. Sarah's text, "I'm here, open the door." I let her in, and she froze, eyes wide at my chopped hair. Emma, they did this. Your own parents, tears burned as I nodded. They drugged me. Sarah, Margaret, Robert, even Claire, they planned it. I spilled everything, the tea, the scissors. Claire's whispered plot to keep me quiet. Sarah's face hardened, her camera bag hitting the floor with a thud. This is twisted. They're not just jealous, they're scared. Your talent, your fire, it threatens their whole game. She grabbed my shoulders, voice fierce. You don't have to take this. Emma, we can hit back. Show them you're not invisible. Her words lit a spark, small but fierce, in the wreckage of my heart. I wasn't ready to plan, not yet, but the seed was there. My family thought they'd silenced me, that I'd shuffle to Lily's gallery, head bowed, and play their role. They'd miscalculated. I looked at Sarah, then at the scissors, and felt the spark grow. They'd tried to break me. Instead, they'd woken me up. The Seattle night was quiet, the city's glow muted through my apartment's rain-streaked windows. I sat on the couch, my phone a heavy weight in my hand, the jagged edges of my hair brushing my neck like a ghost. Sarah sprawled on the rug, her camera gear scattered, her eyes fixed on me. We need to know how far this goes. Emma, she said, voice low but fierce, my family's betrayal. Margaret, Robert. Claire had cracked something open, and I needed answers. I'd recorded bits of my life for years. Small audio clips to untangle the mess of my family for therapy. Now, those fragments felt like evidence. I opened the app, thumb hovering, heart racing. I'm not sure what I'll find, I admitted, voice shaky. Sarah leaned in. Anything that shows their plan. Anything that proves they meant to hurt you. I hit play on a clip from weeks ago, a family dinner. Margaret's voice cut through, cold and sharp. Emma's designs are good, but Lily's the star. We can't let her pull focus. Robert's grunt followed. She won't. She's always known her role. The words stung, confirmation of a lifetime in the shadows. Sarah's jaw tightened. Keep going. I tapped another clip from a gallery meeting 10 days back. Claire's voice, slick and venomous, filled the room. Emma's speech needs to be brief. Margaret, her work's already too visible. We can't risk her outshining Lily. My mother's reply was a knife. We'll handle it. She'll stay in line one way or another. My stomach twisted. One way or another, they'd planned this. Not just the scissors, but every step to keep me small. One last clip from 3 days ago. Claire at our house. Her tone was smug. Her hair's her crutch. Margaret, cut it, and she'll crumble. No one will look twice at her. Margaret's voice was soft, approving, smart. She'll never see it coming. The audio stopped, and silence swallowed us. Sarah's fists clenched. They didn't just betray you, Emma. They orchestrated it. Claire's as guilty as your parents. I set the phone down, hands trembling. This wasn't a one-off cruelty. It was a campaign, years in the making, to lift Lily by crushing me. Every jab about my art, my looks, my place had been deliberate, a script to keep me dim. I looked at Sarah, tears hot in my eyes. They've always done this. Haven't they made me feel worthless? My voice broke, but she grabbed my hand, her grip fierce. You're not worthless, you're a damn force, Emma. They're terrified because you don't need their spotlight to shine. Her words hit like a spark, igniting something raw and powerful. I wasn't the problem, they were. Sarah pulled her laptop closer, eyes glinting. We could share this. Post the clips. Let Seattle hear the truth. It'd shatter their perfect image. Fear surged. What if no one cared? What if they painted me as the liar? What if it backfires? I whispered. Sarah shook her head. The truth is your weapon. And I've got your back. We'll make them face you. I stared at the phone. Those recordings, a map of their cruelty. Margaret, Robert. Claire, they thought they'd won. That I'd walk into Lily's exhibition broken, reading their lines. They'd misjudged me. I wasn't sure how yet, but I'd use their own words against them. The girl they tried to erase was waking up, and she was ready to fight. The Seattle skyline flickered through my apartment window, its lights a silent dare to rise. I stood in my bathroom, staring at the mirror, my hacked hair a stark reminder of Margaret, Robert, and Claire's betrayal. Sarah's voice echoed from the living room, sharp and steady as she sorted her camera gear. The recordings on my phone, their cold, calculated plot to dim me, burned in my mind. They thought I'd shuffle to Lily's exhibition, head bowed, and read their script. They were about to face a woman they didn't know. I grabbed my own scissors, the ones I used for art projects, and thrust them at Sarah. Make me look like I mean business, I said, voice firm despite the churn in my gut. Sarah's eyes sparked, a grin flashing. Emma, you're gonna own that gallery. She worked fast, snipping the jagged mess into a sleek bob, sharp as a blade. When she stepped back, I saw a new me, bold, unyielding, ready. You look like you could topple empires, she said, tucking a strand behind my ear. We moved to my cluttered desk, my laptop open to the speech my parents had approved a dull ode to Lily's genius, erasing me entirely. I trashed it, fingers flying as I wrote a new one, raw and true. It wasn't just about the tea, the scissors, the years of being less. It was about claiming my space, demanding to be seen. Sarah read it, nodding. This is you. Emma, this is fire. I felt it, too, a heat growing inside, pushing out the doubt, but fear lingered, cold and heavy. What if I froze at Horizon Gallery? What if the crowd sided with Lily? With my family's lies, I voiced it. Soft. Sarah, what if I'm not enough? She slammed her coffee mug down, eyes fierce. You're more than enough. They're scared because you're a threat, a real one. Tomorrow, you'll show them. Her words were a lifeline, pulling me from the edge. The stakes spiked higher when my phone pinged with an email from a tech client I'd been designing for. Contract terminated. It read, citing concerns about my reliability. Claire's rumors spread to sabotage my career. Rage surged, but Sarah laughed, sharp. She's desperate. Emma, Claire knows you're bigger than her game. Use this. She was right. This wasn't just about my hair or Lily's night. It was my future, and I'd fight for it. We planned late into the night. Seattle's hum our backdrop. I'd walk into that gallery as Emma Carter, not their prop. My speech would lay bare their cruelty, the recordings their confession. Sarah insisted on filming it, her camera ready to catch every moment. "This could be bigger than the gallery," she said, eyes glinting. "The world might need to see it." I nodded, nerves and resolve tangling. Claire's meddling, my parents' betrayal. Lily's silence, they'd all face me tomorrow. I slipped into my green dress, the fabric cool against my skin, and practiced my opening line in the mirror. My voice didn't shake. They thought they'd cut me down, made me small enough to fit their story. But I was done being their shadow. I was a spark, ready to ignite, and that gallery would feel the heat. The Horizon Gallery shimmered in Seattle's heart, its glass walls pulsing with the city's electric glow. Inside, chandeliers spilled light across Lily's vivid paintings, each canvas a burst of color that drew gasps from the crowd critics in crisp blazers, influencers with flashing cameras, collectors whispering big money bets. I stood at the room's edge, my green dress hugging my frame, my sharp bob a quiet rebellion. My pulse raced, but my grip on my note cards was steady. The phone in my pocket heavy with the recordings of Margaret, Robert, and Claire's plot. Tonight, I'd rewrite their story. Sarah lingered nearby, her camera hidden but ready. Her nod, a silent vow of support. My parents stood by Lily, their smiles tight, polished masks hiding the scissors they'd wielded. Claire, in a sleek suit, darted between guests, her eyes flicking to me with a glint of panic. They thought I'd deliver their bland speech, fade into Lily's shadow. They were about to choke on their own deceit. The gallery director tapped the microphone, silencing the hum. "We're honored to have Emma Carter introduce her sister, Lily, our visionary artist." Polite claps followed as I stepped forward, heels clicking on the polished floor. I set my note cards down, heart thundering, and faced the crowd. Margaret's smile faltered. Claire stiffened. I took a breath, voice clear, cutting. "Thank you for celebrating Lily's art. It's stunning. But tonight, I'm here to tell a different story." Murmurs rippled. I leaned into the mic, words sharp. I was meant to read a speech about family, about love. That was a lie, written by people who think control is care. Gasps rose as I pressed on. 2 nights ago, my parents drugged my tea, waited till I slept, and cut my hair. Why? To keep me from stealing Lily's light, to keep me small. The room froze. A critic's pen clattered to the floor. I pulled out my phone, steady despite the fire in my veins. Don't take my word. Hear theirs. I played the recordings. Margaret's voice icy, clinical. Emma's too visible. We'll make her blend in. Claire's sneer followed. Cut her hair. She'll crumble. The crowd recoiled, eyes darting to my parents. To Claire, whose face drained of color. Robert lurched forward, voice booming. "Stop this, Emma." But I turned up the volume, Claire's smug laugh echoing. "She'll never suspect us." Whispers grew to a roar, shock and outrage clashing. Lily clutched a painting, eyes wet, voice shrill. "You're ruining my night." But the crowd's focus shifted, some nodding at me, others glaring at my parents. Claire tried to slip away, but a guest blocked her, demanding, "Is this true?" I faced the room, voice unwavering. "I'm done being your shadow. You cut my hair, but you can't cut my truth." Then, a clear voice broke through Olivia Grant. A renowned critic in a striking red coat. Emma, your courage outshines this room. The crowd parted as she strode forward, commanding, your designs for this event are exceptional. Show us more. My breath caught. Sarah, grinning, handed me my tablet, my portfolio already loaded. I projected it onto the gallery's screen, my bold designs filling the space vibrant, alive. Applause erupted, some cheering. As Olivia nodded, "This is art," Margaret's face twisted. "A mix of shame and defiance." Robert muttered, "You've gone too far." Claire was ushered out by security, her career crumbling. Lily's sobs faded under the crowd's buzz. I'd come to expose their lies. But I'd done more. I'd claimed my light, right in their spotlight. The room pulsed with it, and I burned brighter than ever. The Seattle night buzzed with a restless energy as I stepped out of Horizon Gallery, the city's lights dancing across the wet pavement. My green dress caught the glow, my bob sharp against the cool air. Sarah walked beside me, her camera slung over her shoulder, eyes alight with pride. "You didn't just speak, Emma. You set the world on fire." My phone vibrated relentlessly, pings from strangers, friends, colleagues, but I let it hum. For the first time, I felt weightless, unbound from the chains my family had forged. By noon the next day, my story had sparked a blaze. Sarah posted a clip of my speech on Instagram, captioned, "Truth cuts deeper than scissors." It didn't go viral overnight. That's not how real stories spread. But it gained traction fast. Local art blogs shared it. Then a Seattle news site, calling it a raw exposé of family betrayal. Within days, thousands had viewed it. Comments flooding in Emma. "You're my hero. I've lived this too." A few influencers amplified it, their followers pushing the reach further. It wasn't a million views, but it was enough to shake the city's art scene. The fallout hit Margaret, Robert, and Claire like a slow-burning fuse. My parents, once darlings of their suburban enclave, faced whispers at their country club, neighbors' glances turning cold. A family friend, a gallery curator, emailed me, shaken. "I'm so sorry. Emma, I didn't know." Lily's exhibition lost a key sponsor, their statement vague but pointed. "We support authentic voices." Claire's career imploded, fired from Horizon Gallery. Her name, toxic after guests confirmed her role in the plot. She vanished from Seattle's circles, leaving only rumors of a move to Chicago. Their reactions weren't simple. Margaret sent a text, not an apology but a defense. "We thought we were helping Lily. You've hurt us all." Robert called, voice gruff, half pleading. "You didn't have to air our business. Emma, we're still family." I didn't reply. Their words weren't remorse. They were damage control. A last grasp at power. Lily was quieter, leaving a voicemail, her tone fragile but edged. "I didn't ask for this, Emma, but I'm sorry. I think I saved it." Unsure if I'd ever respond. Their complexity didn't erase their choices. Then came the wins, hard-earned and bright. Olivia Grant, the critic who'd championed me, emailed an offer, "Join my design team for a global art project. Your work deserves the world." I accepted, heart racing, and soon collaborated on campaigns set for London and Seoul. A local art magazine pitched a feature, "The Artist Who Reclaimed Her Voice," with a photo shoot showcasing my designs and my fierce new look. Under their lights, I felt unstoppable. My past a shadow I'd outrun. Months later, I opened a studio in Seattle's Fremont district, a small space of glass and color. My designs on every wall. It became a hub for young creatives, their dreams echoing mine. Sarah dropped by one evening, pizza in hand, grinning. You're building a legacy. Emma, I smiled, the warmth of it real. My story had rippled blog posts, a podcast episode, messages from strangers who'd felt unseen. I wasn't famous, but I was free, and that was enough. My family's betrayal had tried to dim me, but it lit my path instead. Margaret, Robert. Claire, they'd face their choices in Seattle's cold light. Lily would carry her own weight. Me, I was Emma Carter. No longer their shadow, but a flame they couldn't touch. And I was just getting started. The Seattle dusk painted my Fremont studio in hues of gold, the city's skyline a quiet witness to the life I'd built. A year had passed since the Horizon Gallery, and my world had shifted. My studio hummed walls lined with my designs, a steady hum of young artists swapping ideas, their energy fueling mine. My Bob, now a bold trademark, framed a face that no longer flinched at mirrors. I stood at the heart of it. No longer Lily's shadow, but Emma Carter, a light all my own. One evening, as I finalized a mural design, the studio door chimed. Margaret and Robert stepped in, uninvited, their presence a jarring echo of the past. Margaret's smile was brittle, her eyes scanning my success with a mix of envy and regret. Robert's posture sagged, his confidence eroded by a year of whispers in their social circles. I set my tablet down, voice calm but steel. Why are you here? Margaret's voice wavered, rehearsed. Emma, this place, it's something. We're proud, really. The word rang hollow. Robert coughed, attempting warmth. We messed up, okay. But family heals. Let's move forward. I stared, their half-apology a flimsy bandage on a wound they'd carved. Family doesn't drug you, cut you, to lift someone else. I said, unflinching. You chose Lily's spotlight over me. That's not a mistake. It's who you are. Margaret's lips trembled, but pride kept her silent. Robert muttered, You're too hard on us. I pointed to the door. There's a guest book out front. Leave your thoughts there. I'm busy building something real. They left, footsteps heavy, no longer my anchors. Lily faded from my life, her art career sputtering in Portland, her silence louder than any apology. Claire was a ghost, her name erased from Seattle's art world. I didn't chase their stories, I was writing mine. This journey carved lessons into my core. First, your value isn't theirs to define. I spent years believing I was less because Margaret and Robert said so. Now I know my worth is mine alone. Second, truth cuts through lies. Speaking it, even when it shakes the ground, frees you and lights the way for others. Third, choose your people. Sarah, my rock, showed me family is who lifts you, not who dims you. Finally, pain can forge strength. Their betrayal broke me, but it built me stronger. A woman who shines without permission. I'm Emma Carter, no longer bound by their scissors or their scripts, my studio, my art, my voice. They're proof I'm enough. To anyone feeling unseen, hear this, your light matters. You're not too much, too loud, too bright. Step into your truth. Find your Sarahs, and let the world see you burn.